Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tuck Rule Takes, the best Patriots podcast out there. We're coming off a win, so we're feeling fucking great. I am Mike Sullivan. With me, as always, rocking the bucket hat, I believe, today. Is that what those are called? I'm not good with names. Sam Adams, too.
Best believe.
Awesome.
As Boston as it gets, baby.
Exactly. I'm actually going to be in New Hampshire in a couple weeks, so I'm going to have to get some Sam Adams. I am up there for a week.
If you got some free time while you're up here.
I was just going to say I'm up there for a week, so I'll let you know what's going on. But that's neither here nor there. That's Liam. I'm Mike. We are coming off a win, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said to start,
first of many.
First win of the year. I'm going to drink to that because I think this was a much needed win. I'm not going to say it was a must win because it was not. It was one of those got to have it wins, you know?
Yeah. Like it, love it, got to have it. This was a got to have it.
And the Patriots got to have it, and they got to did it. So we will obviously be talking about that, a little bit of a preview into next week's game, which I think is going to be a really big test on where the Patriots are currently against the Ravens. But Liam, before we started recording, I told you that the Patriots has someone in for a visit today. The name kind of intrigued me. It's a player that's been here before for a position group that is pretty set in stone, but they got a couple lingering injuries here and there. They got Anthony Jennings, linebacker, who was a healthy scratch in the first game. You had, what's his name? Bentley got some sort of lingering back issue there. The Patriots had none other. This would be his fourth stint if he signed. Jamie Collins in the building.
That's exactly what I was hoping. Fuck yeah.
Jamie Collins. Now,
I was hoping it was Dante Hightower. Realistically, I was thinking it was Jamie Collins.
So thoughts on that? How do you feel about Jamie? Because he's in for a visit. I mean, they don't have to work him out, I'm assuming. It's one of those things where it's if you're good, you're coming in. How do you feel?
They're like, are you in Patriot shape? And he'll be yes or no.
Yep. Yeah. He'll be
what did you say it's his fourth stint?
This would be his fourth because he was here the first time, came back again. Left, came back again last year, and now this would be his fourth stint.
Did he come back twice already?
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. Tell you kind of go over how you feel about Jamie Collins.
Yeah,
look it up right now.
I mean, this is Patriots history right here. This is my guy. We loved him last year when he came on. I wasn't blown away by his performance last year, but it wasn't bad. He's somebody who knows the system, can come right in. Like you said, we're pretty well set at the position. Josh Uche's been slaying that rock.
Playing really well.
Love it.
Really well.
But depth is depth. Linebackers the most volatile. It's going to be a lot of hits, a lot of revolving doors going through, as most teams would in the linebacker position. Why the hell not? At least leave them on the back burner. Say, hey, we like you. We're interested in you. If, so-and-so goes down, we're coming for you. So keep working out. Be ready. It might not ever happen, but maybe it'll happen in week 8. Maybe it'll happen in week 11. We might need you. Hell, it might happen the first week of the playoffs. Like, we might just
you never know
last second. And they're like, the defensive system hasn't changed. The offense is completely new, bare bones. Defense still the same. Bill's still here, running the same show. So you can step in, problem. It's an easy fix.
He was here in 2013 to 2016, went to the Browns, came back in 2019, went to the Lions, came back last season. So he is a free agent now. So technically this would be his fourth stint, even though he didn't go to another team before coming back here for the fourth time. So it would be his fourth time signing here if he did sign.
That's obscene. God,
I always forget about the Lions years or the Lions year. I remember the Browns one because that was the first time I sent him away. But I kind of feel the same way you do, where it's interesting they brought him in this week, though, because you're going up against Lamar Jackson. So you want speed. I mean, you have Mac Wilson, who we'll talk about him, I'm sure, in a little bit. Mac Wilson has been a very good signing. He's a quick linebacker, but Uche's a little quick. No one is really the speedster there. No. Like, having Jamie Collins would be cool, just because you can kind of plug him in this one game. Crazy. It's one of those things.
The length, the speed, he's everything you need.
He's athletic. It's one of those things where you sign him and you don't even have to just put him out there and say, hey, you are going to spy Lamar Jackson all night.
I wonder if this is a thing, like you said, like, because it's Ravens week, they're preparing. They're like, we're not going to sign you yet. We're going to see how this week goes. If all of our linebackers get roasted by his speed, we're going going to sign you and use you against other quarterbacks that can run, like
Kyler Murray,
or anyone else who we might face. Yeah, I don't think
Aaron
we play the
Rodgers.
Cardinals this year. Yeah, sort of, but like, I like to think Mac Wilson can chase down Aaron Rodgers.
No, we play the Cardinals. We play the Cardinals after the bye, I believe. So it would be, it would be them. Even
all the more reason.
Josh Allen.
See, I didn't think we did.
Having him in there for Josh Allen. I mean,
although it didn't work last year, but still, Josh Allen didn't run for any touchdowns on us. We'll say that.
We don't need to talk about last year. I think that it would be an interesting signing. I think, not because you do have the lingering injury with Juwan Bentley. It's nothing crazy, I guess, but he does have some little back injury.
That's exactly the point. And that's not going to get better because every play a linebacker has to hit. It's like if an offensive lineman has a lingering injury, that's not going to be healed because every play you are colliding with somebody your size.
Quite literally every single play. And Bentley did come out of the Steelers game, but he did end up coming back in the fourth quarter and he played well. So I don't think he'll miss any time, but I feel like it's one of those things where, you kind of put Collins in there to give him a couple, rests here and there, spell, what's going on. But I don't know.
I think it's the Jimmy G insurance policy. Trey Lance goes down. We got a guy who knows the system. Bentley goes down. We got a guy who knows the system.
You got someone. By the way, props to Jimmy G. I'm happy. I like seeing him do well.
Love
it. He got a lot of weird hatred for some reason, and I kind of get it because he did kind of blow that one pass in the Super Bowl that could have won them the game.
Yeah.
He's a little injury prone here and there, but other than that, he gets a lot of weird hate. I don't.
49ers fans hate him, and it's like if he was on, the Dolphins or the Jets or the Jaguars or any of these QB laden teams, they'd love the guy. Like they'd be like, sign him to a 4-year extension. We can work with this. He's at least going to win us games because the 49ers, they won fucking 3 Super Bowls back in the 90s. They're like, all right, this isn't going to work for us.
Yeah. Like they think that. I'll tell you this much. If Jimmy G was on the Colts, maybe they'd have
if Jimmy G was on the Colts, they'd have a great team.
Although if Jimmy G was on
Matt Ryan is eating shit.
If Jimmy G was on the Titans, maybe the Titans would have more than 0 wins. If Jimmy G was on the Browns, maybe they'd have more than 0 wins. I won't say if Jimmy G was on the Bengals because I do think that Joe Burrow is much better than Jimmy G. Just his O-line is shit.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, though, just a quick starting off point. We'll kind of have to see where that goes. I would love for it to happen.
Still I don't know news on Dante.
Nothing. There is nothing on
Crickets.
Dante Hightower. Nothing at all. Every time before we record, I search his name in Twitter. I just type it in Google to see what news comes up.
Play like the Sarah McLachlan song from the Sad Dog commercials. You're like, Dante Hightower news. Nothing. You just kind of sink your head.
That's where it is. I expect to go in there and have someone be like, oh, might have some news on a certain 54 linebacker. No,
like Lions looking to sign Dante Hightower. Nothing. Anything.
Yeah. Nobody wants him. So that leads me to believe that he's like pseudo retired. He has to be because he's too smart. He's too good at what he does to do that. So it has to be one of those things where he's retired unless the Patriots call.
Damn devastating. One more thing on the Jamie Collins thing.
Yes.
Is there any other team in sports history or football history that let a player leave, bring him back, let a player leave, bring him back like the Patriots do? I mean, Brian Hoyer, Jamie Collins, there's definitely more.
Brandon Bolden left and came back.
Yep, Brandon Bolden again. 1,000,000 times. I know there's been
Patrick
more.
Chung left and came back only once though.
Yep. Still, like the Patriots are literally like the most player-friendly franchise where they're like, go get your money, go get whatever success you think you can get with another team, and when you don't, we'll be right here. Arms open, like come back, buddy.
Come right on back. People say that Belichick is a
be
demon.
Part of something. Yeah. They keep coming back.
Yes.
It's weird. It's weird. He's such a dickhead, but they keep choosing to come back here. Very strange to me.
Yep. Very strange. But I would love that reunion. Give me a 4-peat with Jamie Collins. If anything, all it does is add a quality depth piece.
Yeah.
Who's quick and who's in
like there's no criticism besides like he's a little older, but we're not expecting him to start at the linebacker.
Exactly. Position. You're not going to have to plug him in and expect him to play like, Jawan Bentley or Uche or anything like that. You're going to plug him in. No. Remember when he signed last year, there were games where he just didn't play. So, I mean, there's going to be games where, it's, hey, we need you to play 10 snaps or a dozen snaps or something like that. But when you're in there, play, just make sure Lamar Jackson, make sure Allen, Rodgers, whoever it doesn't, escape or anything. Like, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I like it. I don't care. I don't think it's going to break the bank. The Patriots have just under $3 million in cap space anyway, so I'm not worried anything about that.
Minimum.
Yeah, and he would take it because he doesn't have a job right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. Jamie Collins, come on back. I don't know what number he's going to wear, but I'm open to it. This episode, by the way, episode 49. This is the Joe Cardona episode.
Ooh,
long snapper from Navy, still on the team. I had to check for some reason. I wasn't. I thought that maybe
I thought he was last episode. I thought he was number 48.
I thought he 48 was
Yeah, I know.
Was linebacker, right? I think. I forget who. I forget who. But
I mean, we did Tully Bentacane last time, but we have a current 48 too.
Yeah, there's a current one. I don't.
The dusty number.
Jahai Tavai, whatever. I forget how to say his first name.
Yeah,
either way, this is the Joe Cardona, Navy's own. And I don't. Let's just get into the Patriots baby. Won. I'm pumped. I'm happy. 17-14. The score ended up being close. It was a pretty close game, I think, going into it. I feel like we should start where pretty much we started all the time last year. Mac Jones. Mac Jones stats. I just had them here. They're not they weren't great. But it was still a win. I know he had 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Let me pull him up here. Mac Jones stats. All right, Mr. Jones, 252 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So, I mean, solid game. I mean, I don't, but I will say, I told you during the game that I had a hot take. This game, and I don't even know if I know how hot it is. This was Mac's worst game as a pro, I would say. I had a couple plays that stuck out to me. There was one play he had Lil Jordan Humphrey streaking down the middle, wide open. Just didn't see him, completely missed him. I don't even know what happened on the play. Doesn't matter because it would have been a touchdown if he hit him. There was another one on that 3rd down when he was trying to force it to Jonnu Smith when he kind of got like toppled over a ball. You had Jacoby Myers in the flat. Would have been an easy first down there. And then there was obviously the pick that he threw right to Sutton. Thank God the Steelers dropped it because the Pats went down and scored on that drive, ended up being the game-winning score. I saw people on Twitter freaking out saying that, sure, the Patriots won, but I'm alarmed that it seems like Mac is regressing with his decision-making. And when you say big worded statements like that, he's regressing with his decision making. I don't think that's necessarily it at all. I think he's a 2nd-year quarterback who is playing with players who he's playing with for the 2nd year in a row. I think this is just growing pains. I mean, it may seem like a cop-out thing, but I would just chalk it up to that. I'm not worried. Everything seems to be going the way it should be. I don't know if you're worried at all, but I'm still all in on Mac Jones. I see people asking if he is the guy. Shut the fuck up. Like, you're talking about 2 games into the year after the Patriots won a game. It's a very weird thing. What did you think of Mac Jones's game? Are you nervous at all? Or did you just, you're just along for the growing ride like I am?
First of all, you are such a punk ass. I came into this thinking I was going to break ground. One of my notes is Mac looks sus. I was expecting you to come here casual, like your usual gung ho. You guys are wrong. I didn't see any problems. He's developing, which, you're kind of along the lines there where you're not entirely worried about it, but you recognize this wasn't a good game.
Yeah, it was not a great game. Down.
It wasn't. He looked not great. And if Nelson Aguilar doesn't make that play down the sideline, then he would look even worse. He has no connection with Devontae Parker, it seems like.
None. And Parker said it after
I was there at camp. He was slinging the rock to him and killing it all throughout camp. It has just fizzled out in game action. I have no idea what happened because we paid and traded good fucking value for Devontae Parker. Not that it was a hefty giveaway or anything to get him,
but still, you traded away. I mean, you still went out and got him, and you can see that on, I think it was like the comeback route. It's like the plays are there, they're just off by by like inches. And that's why I want to give it time. I want it to happen.
And that's
now.
the thing. I think it's a continuity issue where it's only the second game. And overall with Max, like you said, the development, like I wrote down, looked suspect. I think it was 8-12 left in the fourth. He forces a ball into double coverage to Jonnu Smith to try and convert on like 3rd and 2, and it gets broken up. And I'm like,
that's the one I was talking about where Jacoby Myers, if you watch, he is in the flat, wide open.
He runs the Edelman route and gets outside. And I'm like, dude, wide open. What are you looking at? Like, I get it. Jonnu Smith's big body. I bet he's hoping he could box them out. I'm not going to trust.
You can see on that play when they show, because I was like, someone, I forget who, one of the reporters posted like stills of the play as it was happening. When Mac is like winding up to let go, the DB that ends up falling off and like almost jumping on Jonnu Smith's back was running up the field next to him with another receiver. So I think he just. It's almost like he did it too late or too early, or like he would have just waited a split second.
The way he was predicting it wasn't. He was trying to see the play as it developed earlier than it actually happened, and I get it. You win some, you lose some. That's why I don't look at interceptions for the most part and go, wow, this guy didn't throw any interceptions. That's crazy. No, I think you should throw interceptions. I think it's good for you. You take the risks and whatnot. Unless you're Aaron Rodgers and you throw 3 picks every year or a pick every year, then it's unbelievable. And Aaron, then he shouldn't throw picks because he's just Jesus. And Tom Brady, I don't think Tom Brady should throw them either, but he still puts risk out there. Mac Jones' pick, though, to Minkah Fitzpatrick was ugly. That was dumb. That's a huge no-no. One of my favorite sound bites all time of the Patriots is, I don't know even what season it's from, but Belichick's sitting in his office, and he's looking at film of Ed Reed, and he goes, we can't even throw to him. Whatever side Ed's on, you don't throw that way. He goes, we absolutely have to know where Ed Reed is at all times. And then in that following game, Ed Reed gets a pick off a deflection, takes it back to the house. I think it was a playoff game. And Bill's on the sidelines like, Jesus Christ, this is what we were talking about. He's flipping out. And Minkah Fitzpatrick is obviously not in the same.
He's really good, though.
But he is the best safety in the league right now.
Really good.
Second. He had a pick 6 last week. Gets another pick on us this week. It's a dumb hang over the middle pass like that where he's patrolling the deep middle. Unless he is wide open and you can push the ball over the safety in the corner, don't make that throw. The best safety in the league undercut it. And that sucked. That's a huge momentum killer because Jalen Mills gets a pick 2 plays before then, gives us the ball. And it was rough. It's deflating and stuff like that. You're like, that's dumb. Because it's Bill's fault for letting him do that. Bill should be like the Ed Reed treatment. Don't throw it anywhere that Minkah Fitzpatrick is. Take the short routes all day, death by 1,000 cuts. Don't throw it toward him. But it's also Mac's fault. They should both be on the same page. And Mac should know. Can't go anywhere near 39.
No, and he should not be. Him and Fitzpatrick were on the same team, I believe, in Alabama, or I think Fitzpatrick came from Alabama or something like that.
He did come from. Oh my God, they might.
Yeah, so it was one of the things where like because they asked Fitzpatrick about Mac Jones and vice versa, and like how they talked about each other. It was like, oh, Alabama guy, like he's nice, he's good. Yeah, Mac Fitzpatrick's really good. You can't throw those stupid ass passes. That was one of those ones. It was just don't get me wrong. Max still had a lot of great plays, good throws to Jacoby Myers. I mean, Jesus, there were some really tight windows.
I don't want to diminish the good throws that they worked. No. There were a few.
No, but I think we're past the point where we're coming at any sort of criticism or anything that we give Mac Jones or the Patriots as a whole. It's not coming from the pessimist side, which a lot of the fans and media are, where it's like, I'm saying this because I don't think the team is good and this is why. I feel like we criticize it because it's like, it's just what we see. Like, at the end of the day, I'm still ride or die. I'd kill for Mac Jones. I'd kill for this team.
Yeah. You can choose one thing without diminishing the other option. We can say he made a lot of mistakes. It doesn't mean the good mistakes he made weren't that good. It's like if I say, and I do say Terrell Owens is the greatest receiver ever, doesn't mean Randy Moss sucked. Doesn't mean Jerry Rice sucked. No, I'm 100% right. But it just means Terrell Owens is the greatest receiver I've ever laid eyes on. And that's how it goes. You don't need to choose. You don't need to choose one over the other,
exactly.
Different strokes, different folks. But I don't know. The whole thing, like, with Mac. That was my big thing on here. I was like, he looks suspect in this game. And TJ
rough.
Watt wasn't even there to pressure him. The pressure they were bringing isn't that elite of a pass rush. So I'm like, what the fuck do we do if we play like I don't know who's an elite pass rush in the league now?
The
like
Bills,
the
honestly, the
Bills.
Viking, so you almost have to not, and again, I'm not, God, I hate, that's why I hate the first few weeks of the year. I'm assuming that the O-line is going to get a little bit better. The O-line has been pretty good, better than they've been at this point in the year in other seasons. But I feel like once you get the connection down with that, like Devontae Parker connection, once that's down, it just the little things. It's just like the Mac's rushing it a little bit. And I think he is smart enough. He's good enough to eventually stop doing that. I mean, there's nothing I saw last year or from him anyway that makes me think he can't do that. Because when he does, have time, when he's convicted, when he throws, he's normally
he's on.
Very good. Yeah. And it's just as a second year quarterback, when he's off, he's off. Yeah, no shit. He's going to have his stumbling blocks and all that. I think the connection with Parker, when that comes into play, that's going to be awesome. I'm very excited to see when Tyquan Thornton comes back. To add that speed, when you have him and Nelly, fucking Nelly, we'll talk about him in a second. When you have him and Nelly on the side, you got Parker running deep outs or like deep slants. You got Myers coming over the middle and, Kendrick Bourne doing God knows what. Who knows if he's even going to be on the team, but like, it's crazy to me that people are seeing these games this game from Mac Jones and kind of giving up on him. It's weird. I don't get it. Like Mac Jones is still playing well. He's just making mistakes, but this is also his second year. Like give it a little time, and like we keep saying, it's a new offense. So that's probably where the hesitation comes in, or the quick decisions, because he probably sees something flash and he's like, okay, I got to throw it because maybe I'm not as comfortable with not throwing here and looking at my third or fourth option. So it is what it is. But I think that we are both man enough to say that this was a very rough game, but it is great that the Patriots won this game, because when Mac has these bad games, you need someone else to step up, or you need another team. You need something else to step, or honestly, you just need certain plays to be made. And that's what they did. And I think that's the sign of a really good team, when your quarterback, when your defense, when your secondary, when your offensive line, when something's not playing well, another part of the team steps up and, helps you win the game. And that's what they did. So that's why this was a great team win. So people trying to, poo-poo this win, or, it's Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah, no shit. It's Mitchell Trubisky. If they were playing Aaron Rodgers, they probably don't win the game, but they weren't playing Aaron Rodgers. So you can only play who's across
what they needed to win the game at the moment.
Exactly. So yeah, the Mac point. Did you have anything else on Mac?
No, not per se.
No, it was just a rough game.
Underwhelming. Yeah. It wasn't great.
That's all it was, because he's still 250 yards is fine. A touchdown, a pick. I mean, the pick was horrible, but I'm not going to crucify.
The touchdown was a little lucky, but like it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad throw. It was a good throw.
Yeah, it was one of those throws. Play. Yeah. It was just, and I think Aguilar said it too. He was like, that's what we want, like the 50-50 balls. I think it's if you feel comfortable with the matchup, when you had Aguilar going against like the third corner or something like that, throw it up to him. Why not? Just do it. I'm fine. Even
shit like that could happen.
If that play didn't happen, or if Aguilar didn't make that catch, I'm still not necessarily shitting on the decision as much. I'm pissed because I'm like, I wanted the first. I think that was on a third down too. So it's just like, but 50-50 balls, I feel like you need to win those. The only way to win them is to throw them up there. So I'm happy you caught it.
Down. It's one of those things where it's like I want the touchdown, but I also want you to play it safe and get the first.
When I saw him chuck it up there, I was like wait, so he's either wide open or this is going to end poorly. And neither thing happened. He was not wide open, and it did not end poorly. No. I honestly thought it was Devontae Parker. When I saw the 15 on the back, when he was like skipping in the end zone, I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah,
Nelson
Aguilar. Parker too. I just saw the one, and then I was like, oh shit. And then I proceeded I threw on some Nelly, some country grammar bumping through my house.
Texted me immediately, Nelly, welcome to Nellyville.
Yeah, I was jazzed up, absolutely jazzed up. Which Let's talk about our segment here, our new segment to the show, the Game Breaker segment.
Yes.
This obviously, I figure, goes without saying. For each episode now, we will be picking a Game Breaker player, somebody we talk about the show before, or somebody that kind of needs to step up for this team. Devontae Parker, hopefully will be a Game Breaker next week for one of us. But this week, mine is obviously Nellyville. Last week, every week I sing his praises. Last week, after his perfect performance in week one, I'm expecting almost perfect. He fumbled. He came in this game, 6 catches, $110, 18 yards per catch average, and that crisp tutty. That's my number one receiver.
He had $110.
Oh yeah, he did. Because I mean, what do you expect? He's the perfect receiver. He's fast, great hands most of the time. Focused.
I didn't know that he had over
10,
for some reason I thought it was
Jacoby Myers almost had 100.
That's who I thought.
It doesn't show at all. Yeah, it doesn't show at all because all of his were like 5
He does
and 10
the
yards.
dirty work that you need. That's what he does. He third down.
Catches?
Who do you go to?
He had 9 catches. Holy shit.
I know. I have him in fantasy. This is what you like.
Damn.
It was just I was very.
You trade for this dude in fantasy. He's big balling.
I was very happy with Jalen Mills and honestly all of them. So okay, that's your game breaker though, Nelly. I mean, I feel like probably could have guessed that one though.
Yeah, I figured it was blatantly obvious, so I figured we get it out of the way now. My runner up though was Mac Wilson. Like, dude was flying all over the field. Even the plays he didn't make, he was impactful. They swung it out to Najee Harris in the left flat. And Mac Wilson, first one there, doesn't make the tackle, but he slows down Najee Harris, who instead of getting a 20-plus yard gain, only ended up getting like another 5 yards after that. He still got the first down, but it could have been a bigger play. And he tipped the ball, which ended up getting picked by Jalen Mills.
Mills.
Dude's flying all over the place. Big bad number 30 in the middle of the defense. A low-key great signing. Love him.
So that was going to be Mac Wilson was going to be my game breaker, but I do have another one. Kind of a feel good one. Didn't make that many plays, but when he came in, he did it. I'm going Jabril Peppers. I thought that him coming in, him taking over, I believe it was for when Duggar went out, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
They had to put in Jabril Peppers. He came in, I think, immediately.
Him and Phillips, that was scary.
Can you imagine having to go against him? The two easily of like the hardest hitting safeties in the league.
Phillips
it was crazy.
Ball hawk. I'm like, oh God, that's a deadly safety duo.
So I think it might have been the first play he came in, or maybe it was the second one. It was something where I think it was like a pass to the running back, or maybe a screen to a receiver or something like that.
Jalen Warren.
Peppers sniffed it out immediately and didn't just tackle him. He stuck him, made sure that he wasn't moving. And then I think it was like 3 plays later, the same type of thing happened. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I am. First of all, I forgot he was on the team. Not any fault of his own. Just
he didn't do anything in week 1. I don't even know if he played.
2, I don't think it might just be maybe the colors look different on him. He is built like a I don't even want to say a brick wall because that would be doing a disservice to Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
It is crazy. So he is my game breaker. And I think for me, this is going to be probably the first and only time, because now we'll kind of pick who we're going from here on out. Definitely a surprise one. If you told me to list my 10 game breakers, who I think they might be, I would not have said Jabril Peppers. So,
I mean, I wouldn't expect it. He's not who I was expecting you to pick, but
who are you thinking?
Eat, sleep, breathe, and shit, Jabril Peppers. I was thinking you were going to go with, because you talked about him. You demanded a better performance. Christian Barmore came in with a sack.
I almost did. He came. I had it written down. Yep. Barmore showed up. Judon showed up too. Yep. Judon out there playing corner.
Madman.
Blocking.
Madman.
Deflecting passes to Harris. The whole defense. I think this is going to be, to no surprise of us or to anybody who's paid attention, this is going to be a very good defense.
It is.
Very good.
I mean, it's like a staple every year. Last year, our defense was fantastic. You should expect nothing less this year. The point you brought up about Judon, the fact that he's out in pass coverage at all shows how complex this defense is, where the quarterback's like all last week, all the film they watched last week, he didn't drop back for a pass once. So they're like, all right, it's automatic. He's going to be rushing every time. They look at him on the line. He drops back into the passing lane. They're immediately confused. They have 2 to 3 seconds to get rid of the ball, and they're already confused off the bat. It's money.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. The defense, other than that, other than the one scoring drive there, like the Patriots only gave up. I mean, they're giving up 13, 14 points in back-to-back games. The defenses, because you have obviously, last week the Miami scored on the strip sack or whatever. But, you know, if you're a defense, you're going to give up 13, 14, 17 points at most a game. Those should all be winnable games. You know, we're going to see,
in a scoring,
really see where they
league,
are.
Yes.
It's, I think right now, Mac is 9-0 when the Patriots win the turnover battle.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, I mean, it's either 8-0 or 9-0. I believe it's
any suitable quarterback, like unless you have Mitch Trubisky as your fucking quarterback, if you win the turnover battle, you should win automatically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you got to cut out stupid plays like that. Though we get the pick and then we give it back to him with the pick. But even then, we still, you know, we were out there. The sacks, they were coming. The dogs, let the dogs loose on them.
They were coming in. And speaking of sacks, you know, kind of quickly switching to the offense before we go back over it. We'll kind of go back and forth. Doesn't really matter.
There's no method to this madness.
For a front, and I know they had TJ Watt last week for a fair amount of the game. For a front that literally lived in Joe Burrow's lap.
Was it 9 sacks or something ridiculous?
It was something crazy like that. They hardly ever got to Mac. And yeah, sure, they pressured him and everything like that. And, you know, you can't, I mean, pressures are still pressures. They're still good. But this offensive line is doing great. And other than David Andrews, who I think is the best offensive lineman there, Cole Strange, #1 pick, is killing. I sent you I think it was like a 40-second video or something where he is blocking.
I probably watched it for about 40 minutes too.
Hey, he probably had to take a cold shower after too. Cam Hayward, who is no slouch. Cam Hayward is Cam Hayward. That should be a household name if you're a football fan. He had him in
the vice grips.
There was a play where it was Strange. It was like a 5-yard run or something. Cole Strange is blocking him. He's like going on with the block to the point where Hayward gets upset and like kind of throws him down. I love that shit. Get under their skin. There was one play where Strange is blocking someone to the left. They had a stunt coming around on the right. He shed right off him, got into him. Like that. Perfect. That's the shit that I'm sure Belichick looks at and he's like, oh yeah, I made the right choice. I made the right choice.
Gerard Mayo is foaming at the mouth watching that in film room. He's like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I think like this pick may prove to be very, very good if this offensive line gels together. You know, I mean, Trent Brown, other than, I mean, let's be honest, if you watch the game, Trent Brown got called for one false start. He was moving early on like half of the snaps, which like there were sometimes I see it and I'm like, all right.
I called one late in game. I was like, oh my God, false start. No. And they just didn't call it.
They didn't call it. I was
like, cool.
I was like, so we're just not okay. I mean, that's fine if we're just not going to call him. But yeah,
and those Tom Brady calls still.
He was great. He was moving a lot better. I know there was like some talk about like him because against Miami on some of the screens or the run plays, it was kind of taking him a while to get out to the left and everything. He was moving fine. He was blocking people left and right. David Andrews doing well. Mike Onwenu played very well. And then, you know, Isaiah Wynn had his, you know, struggles here and there, but this offensive line I like, and I think Cole Strange is kind of proving that he was worth that first round pick. But going back to the defense though, I want to see either Marcus Jones or Jack Jones. I think they might be one of my 2 game breakers. I might end up going crazy and picking a rookie corner against the Ravens. We'll see. But I want to see them. I want to see them make some plays. That's all. That's all it really comes down to. And holy shit, how did we go so long without talking about New England's sweetheart last year? But he should be fired. Not even the Sun. The Sun would be too nice. You need to fire him into a black hole. Miles Bryant, sir. If you are catching punts and someone punts the ball to you and you have to turn and run after it like you're a receiver and try to catch it over your head, over your shoulders, you probably shouldn't fucking field the punt. Yep. Because that could have blown up,
wave it off
everybody's face. Don't even go. They always say like line up at the 10 or whatever. And if you have to backpedal, don't do it. I don't know what Miles Bryant was doing. I guess somehow he was the highest rated corner on the Patriots that game, which looking back at it and kind of like, watching like some clips that people were posting and stuff, he played well. He only gave up 3 catches for 15 yards. I guess that's what
they also weren't looking to him either. Mitch Trubisky's a quick. He really only throws out routes, and he's not somebody who's going to progress through reads. Like you said earlier, if this was Aaron Rodgers, he would have toasted Miles Bryant. Only giving up 3 is great, but I like some context here. Numbers don't tell the whole story. They tell part of the story. Mitch Trubisky is not going to get to a third read 80% of the time.
No, I don't even think he knows that he has a third read, to be honest. And that's no fault. He seems like a cool guy. He looks like a cool guy.
He's probably a better quarterback than me. I wouldn't guarantee, but he might
be. Maybe. But I mean, it just Miles Bryant, though, I do want to give him a little bit of props just because he was covering Claypool, who's like a good 5 inches taller than him.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
shredded.
If Claypool, you got to think Claypool is going to be the number 2 option probably. So if he was burning Miles Bryant, you have to think that Mitch is at least competent enough to go there. I guess he wasn't. So, Miles Bryant, props to you. Just a little prop, just like one prop to you. For
definitely more power to you.
But other than that, I literally wrote down, send him to the sun. I wrote it like 3 times in caps in my notes. So I'm
with you. It's very
I don't want this.
It's a shame, and I don't want to jump down his throat just yet, so I'm going to hold off my criticism of Miles Bryant because he made not so many, but he made a few crucial plays. The one that always pops into my mind last year was the Bills play. I hold a lot of weight in previous years' plays, even if you're not that guy anymore. Like, I still have high admiration for Dante Hightower, who had that goal line stand in the Super Bowl, and that was fun.
Oh, yeah. I'll always think of him as that guy.
Yeah.
Always.
And I'm like, he can still do that, but like that might be my own bias talking, and I'll admit it. So I'm going to hold off on my Miles Bryant criticism right now. Related, though, somebody we did send into the sun, and I'm sure the Steelers want to do that same thing now. Gunnar fucking Olszewski muffing the punt.
Once a Patriot, funny. Always a Patriot.
Yeah, he's totally playing for the other team. We let him walk. We're like, hey, we play the Steelers in week 2. Go sign there. It'll probably be close. Just do something for us. We brought back Hoyer. We brought back Bolden. Hell, we might bring back Collins. We've already done that a couple times. Help us out. You got a contract with us after that year. He's like, all right. So, and that led to the Damian Harris touchdown. That was integral to the game. I'm like, yes.
I mean, that
karma is beautiful.
On that play, and before, they were talking to, I forget what coach, who it was from the Patriots, but they were talking about like fake punts and stuff like that. Because if you watch that play, what's his name? Schooler, the Patriots gunner who 41. Actually ended up getting it. There was nobody on him at all. Yeah. If Jake Bailey would have just picked up the punt and threw it to him, he would have ran for 40 yards. So I don't know if Jake
Bailey can throw, but
I guess he can.
Okay.
I guess he can. I guess he has an arm. That's what they said, that he could have done it. But I think they didn't. I guess the last fake punt the Pats ran was in 2017. So I guess like the play just wasn't. Yeah, I think it just wasn't called because I feel like in that thing, it's like, listen, if you're gonna run a fake punt, why not just put the offense out there and just like actually
do it in like a high stakes moment, like play against the Ravens.
Week 2. Yeah, week 2 against the Steelers, where like that. I mean, not that the Steelers are. I mean, they're not a great team, but like you don't.
Yeah, they're not good.
Don't pull that out. Like don't waste that shot. Like, but like you said, wait in a game. Maybe against the Ravens or later in the season, the playoffs or something. But that was crazy. Seeing that,
I love
just the bop right off football.
Him. It's just like yes.
Oh my god! Because I think they asked Gunnar
former
too.
Patriots players always muff punts against us. Wes Welker.
Who was it? Who was the corner? He was on the Ravens. He muffed the punt. It was who was it?
Former Patriot?
Yeah. Former Patriot.
What year was this?
I am gonna look it up right now. It was like a couple of years ago.
Was that?
It was the Patriots Ravens muffed punt. Let me just see. It was no. Cyrus Jones. Cyrus Jones. I think he did it like twice in the game. It was crazy. So
sucked.
So it does happen though, where you do have these expatriates who I don't know if like they get in their own head. They asked Gunnar earlier in the week before the game. They asked him how it was. He was like, "Oh, it's just like when you see an ex or some quote like this, where he was like, when you see an ex girlfriend or something, you want to show them that you're doing better. You want to rub it in their face. Well, I think the ball hit you right in the face. So maybe instead of trying to prove us wrong or whatever, like, and then I think he caught like a slant for 12 yards and he got all pumped about it.
It was like 20, but it
was a little
still not great. Doesn't matter because it didn't outweigh. His ex pulled up in a Lamborghini and he was in a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Yeah, he pulled up in like a Jeep and got out in like all the knockoff clothing, like all like where like the emblems are hanging out, like the Adidas Gucci with 4 stripes, like Nike logo that's backwards, like those things.
Backwards and upside down.
Yeah, that was great. But those are the plays though. So going back to Mac having not a great game, those are the plays that you need to make and capitalize on, where you need to do that in order to win games. Yeah. So I was happy about it. It was a turnover that led to a score. Damian Harris, by the way, I love Damian Harris. I love Ramondre Stevenson, but just they both are so good. And Damian Harris, at the end of the game, the Patriots got the ball with 6 minutes and 33 seconds left. They did not give the ball back.
So crazy.
I don't know if or how powerful Bill Belichick's erections are, but if he did get one, it was probably the biggest of the year so far for that, because he loves that shit where he just you're
Jack
basically
stock type erection,
imposing your will on the other team. The other team knows that you need to run it. You know that you need to run it, and they ran behind Cole Strange and Trent Brown for the majority of the time. And I think Jonnu Smith even had a couple cutback blocks and not cutback blocks, but different, chip blocks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And the Patriots ran out the clock. I can't tell you, I don't need to tell you how crucial, how vital, how important, how useful that is as the season goes on, to know that you can get the ball with like 5 minutes left and be like, I could probably run the clock out if we need to.
Bill's just like looking at his watch. He's like, cool, game's over. What?
That's one of those things. Okay, so for instance, when you're playing the Ravens, a team like the Ravens, you don't want to give Lamar Jackson a lot of shots, late in the game, because the defense is tired. He'll run around. Dude's fast as lightning. So what do you do? Just like the old defense on Tom Brady. How do you beat him? You don't let him get the ball.
Yes.
So the Patriots get the ball next week with 9 minutes left or something. Run 5 minutes, 4 minutes off the clock. No, more than 4 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes off, or vice versa. If you get the ball with 6 minutes left, run. You should be able to run the ball on pretty much anybody. And if you can do that, that's going to shorten the game. That's going to win you more games. So yeah, I had to bring attention to that. That was awesome. I'm sitting there.
We mentioned that too last week, where we couldn't do that against the Dolphins. Like that strip sack touchdown that the Dolphins got completely put the running game out of the option. And we're like, fuck, like obviously we're going to lose. We're a run first team, 2nd-year quarterback. And the whole offense is based around the run.
Yep. And I mean, when you have someone like Damian Harris in an offensive line that loves to run block, why not just do that more? And I think we're starting to see that a little bit more with this Matt Patricia offense. You're seeing more. First of all, you're seeing more RPOs, even though they don't look like your typical ones. I saw, I think 5 or 6 breakdowns that people were that, like, the reporters, whoever were doing, the Patriots were running more RPOs, but Mac would just pull it out. He threw one screen to Myers. He threw another one to I think it was Aguilar or something like that. But they're doing a little bit more. So this new offense, and Belichick said after the game, he was like, we're realizing what there's a lot of stuff that we're scrapping from the playbook because we know that we don't do it well. So I think that's what that's why I keep saying, wait until week 4, week 5.
Exactly. And that's why I don't want to criticize Mac too much right now. I'm like, I get it. They're weeding shit out.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where I think eventually this offense is going to have like sprinkles of this offense is going to turn into a vanilla soft serve with rainbow sprinkles. You're going to have your normal offense, your solid. It's vanilla ice cream. Everybody likes vanilla soft serve. It's never going to knock your socks off, but it's good. It gets the job done most of the time. But you toss some rainbow sprinkles on there, then it's like, oh shit, like I got a bunch on that lick. Let's take this, like, little unsurprised, the ones that kind of burrow in the soft serve and you get them as you're eating it. I think that's what this offense is going to be. So, you get more RPOs. I'm alarmed that we haven't seen any jet sweeps yet.
Yeah, friggin', we haven't seen
like
much
that.
from the man who would be doing jet sweeps.
But... Yeah, I think actually we did see one with Jacoby Myers, but that doesn't count to me. A real jet sweep is when Kendrick Bourne comes across the field, who I think had 4 catches or 3 catches, I think, or something like that. Maybe he had 3, but one was called back because of a holding, I believe.
Yeah, I think there was one called back, actually. As for this offense, though, like, I envision a perfectly well-oiled, like, final product of this offense is very like a power run scheme where they have Mac in the passing game throwing quick outs. When Tyquan Thornton comes back and hopefully he improves chemistry with Devontae Parker, it'll be death by 1,000 cuts, a lot of short passes, and then sprinkles of deep shots to Thornton and Parker off play action, down in the goal, or a lot of running in between those, down in the goal line. Classic Tom Brady play call, hard play action, no wide receivers on the field, hard play action, tight end over the middle, just quick fake handoff, quickly sling it over the middle. We didn't see much of Hunter Henry, saw absolutely nothing of Jonnu Smith last week once again, like waiting for those,
which is
disappointing. But I think this is all building to a grand integral offense, which will hopefully include both of those, because this offense that I envision is perfect for all these personnel. Obviously Tyquan's not playing, we're not using Jonnu as much. Friggin' Kendrick Bourne isn't playing even when he's playing. It's friggin' ridiculous. So the offense, not everything has met the potential that at least I've built up in my mind, yours too, and definitely not of the coaching staff. I'm sure they want to be putting up 28, 36 points a game. Realistically, not probably going to happen. But at some point late in the season, I'd like to think when everyone's together, everyone's carved out a role, everyone's used to the offense, we can get this finely tuned, balanced pass and run attack with Mac. And they're just like, don't throw picks. If you go in there and don't throw picks, don't fumble, don't turn it over, game manage, we'll win.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, because how I see it, it is going to be a run. I guess you could call it a run first, power run offense, but there's going to be a lot of play action. I think the elements, and that kind of sounds familiar to the 01, 02, 03 offense, doesn't it? But I think the little bits that this offense will have, that offense way back then didn't have, you'll have more of your kind of like your jet sweep type plays where your motion handoffs, those things. Also a huge aspect, which this is where Parker comes into play, that they haven't had the last couple of years, especially. You're going to have that deep threat that can go up and get the 50-50 balls. So if for some reason you see Parker in one-on-one,
both of them.
Nelson Aguilar too. So I guess he's one of those guys. So if you see him one-on-one with the second or third corner, say it's, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 8 or whatever, Mac's going to he'll feel comfortable to throw it up to one of them, and what you also have too, Jacoby Myers, my only notes for Jacoby Myers, I wrote, I fucking love Jacoby Myers.
He's reliable.
That guy,
he's so reliable.
He is your secure. It's going to get to the point where they're going to have safeties or linebackers or something popping out to kind of shade his way on third downs or things like that.
Because that's going to be like, what, are we just going to give up 6 yards to this dude every down?
Exactly.
And he's like an old pickup truck that just won't die. Like, it just keeps getting you to work and back. And that's all you need.
You go, and they were showing a lot of these plays. And I want to give Matt Patricia props too. They were showing a lot of plays where Mac either got kind of rushed out of the pocket or, he did hit someone who was open or anything. They run this route where it's a very simple route, but there's always someone open, it seems like, where they had Jacoby Myers do like kind of a shallow cross, and then they had Devontae Parker do a deep cross, or Nelson Aguilar do a deep one. And they had someone on the side.
Of the field, same
side.
Okay.
So they would run that a lot. And they did have ones where they were going cross field with each other. But a lot of the plays where he hit Jacoby Myers on 3rd down, or anytime he threw the ball, Jacoby Myers, it was on those slants that were going the same way. So I feel like we're starting to see this offense mold into what it's going to be. And once you get, like, God, for the love of God, get Jonnu Smith involved. I know
It's
that
so annoying.
every week is a
In
different
week
game
one, we
plan.
were jazzed up that he got 6
One
targets.
catch.
No, he got
No,
3 catches, 6 targets.
but he had that one where he caught it and ran like 12 yards. That
Yes,
was awesome.
yes, and that was
Awesome.
big time. And then in this one, I think it was 3 targets, no catches, and you're like, "Dog, come on."
Come on. And then, Hunter Henry wasn't in. Like, I know you can't
Hunter
have
Henry,
everybody.
I don't even think Hunter Henry played in this
You
fucking
can't
game.
have everyone on the field at the same time. Like, you can't always get everybody their passes at the same time. And I get it. That's the frustrating part of being not just a football fan, but especially a Patriots fan, because that's kind of how the offense goes. Mac even said after the game, he was like, those two guys talking about Smith and Henry, he was like, that I know, some weeks I tell him, this might be a 2 tight end week. Sometimes it isn't. Those guys, I know when they're ready, they'll be good to go. He said the same thing about Kendrick Bourne. So I think everybody's kind of playing the same tune right now. It's just the growing pains that you always see with these Patriots offenses. The defense almost always comes out ready to go. Almost always. There might be one or two things that get tweaked or different things, but it's almost always the offense that takes 4 or 5 weeks to get going. And we're starting to see them week by week get a little better. It's only been 2 weeks, but I don't know. I like what I see. I just want to see it all together. Because like you said, this offense, the potential in, I think Nelson Aguilar, I think was the one that said it, where they aren't even close to playing to their potential.
No.
So I'm ready. I'm excited. I can't wait. I think as the competition gets better, you're going to see them forced into playing better. Because when you're playing a shitty team or a team that doesn't necessarily, still a tough game, but not one that's going to really push you. Like, it's one of those things where you can kind of relax a little. And I know no one's going to say that they do, but you got to think, you get up more for a Ravens game. You get up
human
more
nature.
for.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we'll see, this week. And like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit before, before we're done. But yeah, I got nothing else on the offense.
Quick aside. Have you ever seen the show Entourage?
No, that's the one show I haven't seen. No. Why? Say it though. Cause I'm sure I know people have seen it.
Yeah. So Ari Gold, like the famous character from that, the huge dickhead agent.
Yep.
His wife thinks he's super depressed because he didn't want to go to a Lakers game. And she's like, it's because your old client was there. And I know you don't want to see him, blah, blah, blah. And she's talking about how depressed he is and how he's avoiding things that he used to love because these people are here. And he wouldn't tell her what's wrong. He finally snaps. He goes, all right, I didn't want to go to the fucking Lakers game because they're playing the goddamn Bobcats. And he flips out about how bad the Bobcats are. He's like, I don't give a fuck about going to the game. They're playing a shit team. And then it was that was the thing the whole time. And it's just human nature. You don't think the Patriots players are all right, we're playing the Jets this week. Let's just go in there, do the bare minimum, win by 50. Yeah.
Let's not hurt ourselves. Let's just win the game. And I think that's a little bit of maybe, and I know it's not like they weren't calling or weren't trying certain things or whatever, but I think that it's just, these are the games where you can kind of build. And if things don't work, you have slight chances to deal with them and go into something that does work. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm still pumped. I'm just happy that we got the first win. I'm happy that it was in Robert Kraft's 500th game as the owner of the Patriots. That was awesome.
Shit. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. It was against the Steelers too, which is awesome. I mean, it's the Steelers, so it's a longtime rival. Very feel good win. I think that's kind of all I had on the game. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch on? I mean, I had Christian Barmore, but you brought him up. He had the sack. He stepped up.
Yeah.
He did what I asked him to do. That's all I ask.
That's true. He must be a listener then. He was like, all right, Mike says I sucked. I got to step it up. He went out there. Literally, when he got that sack, I was like, all right, sweet. Mike's prayers have been answered.
I was pumped. Pumped.
Oh, of course. I thought it'd be silly. But no, that basically covered all my notes. Where the fuck are our tight ends? Mac looks sus. Gunner fucked it up. Jabril Peppers killed a man on live TV.
Yes, he did. Gamebreaker. That's what that is. Because that's the hit that I feel like all the deep, whenever a guy gets popped, they're like, your guy, you're like, holy shit.
He's dead.
Let's fucking go. And I think that was one of those hits. So I was pumped. Great win. I would like to see. Well, actually, so we'll do, who we think Gamebreaker is going to be next week as we talk. So next week, huge game.
Yes.
Home opener against the Baltimore Ravens.
We're coming off a devastating loss.
We're coming off a loss, which I think I'd almost be less worried if they were coming off a win. Kind of like the Steelers were.
Be less worried.
So yeah, the Ravens right now, they are big. It was the biggest fourth quarter collapse of the Ravens, like of their organization's history. So I like, they're going to want to come out. Harbaugh is going to want to, really stick it to the Patriots and all that.
He hates the Patriots.
He hates the Patriots. But the thing is, though, he can hate the Patriots. He doesn't have the same defense that he's had before. He doesn't have he doesn't have that power running game. I mean, Lamar Jackson,
crazy. Marcus Peters kind of blows now.
Marcus Peters to me is like I think Marcus Peters is who I would compare Marcus Peters to. He's that guy who he's a ball hawk. So when all those things are going well for him, and he's guessing routes correctly and all that, he is a top 2 corner in the league. And he's probably not number
7 picks off gambling, you're like, oh God.
But the times where he does it, it reminds me of, I think it was like the last year Malcolm Butler was on the Patriots. Malcolm Butler, great corner. But his thing was he would really guess the route you're running, and that's how he would cover you, deflect the pass. He's not like the Darrelle Revis type, where Revis was just so damn good, where no matter
Revis
where
had
you
like
went,
3 picks every year, and everyone's like, why doesn't he have more picks? It's like they're not even looking at him.
He didn't. He could flip his hips. He could do whatever he needed to do. But Marcus
was worried about
deflections.
He didn't really care about picks.
Oh yeah, he didn't.
I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to stop your drive.
Marcus Peters, again, you can probably get him to bite on a couple pump fakes, things like that. I have visions of Devontae Parker going over Marcus Peters and catching the ball. I would love that. Ravens offense, Lamar Jackson, obviously. Other than that, you got Rashad Bateman, but no one else that really
he's their only real number 1 wide receiver.
David Andrews.
Robinson was a little suspect. David Andrews, like there's a huge lack of tight end talent in the league now. Like
huge.
Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez are looking at this and they'd be like, I would be far and away the best tight end in the league right now.
They could suit up right now. Yeah. And Mark, I mean, for Andrews, I'm assuming if Duggar is healthy, you put him, and even if not, Adrian Phillips, you got Peppers, you got Mac Wilson, who's quick enough and big enough to cover him. So I'm not like, the only thing that scares me about this team is Lamar Jackson, because I think Rashad Bateman, you could probably put Jonathan Jones on him, give him a little help over the top, because Jonathan Jones is fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah.
So you could put him there. The only thing, as always, that worries you about this team is Lamar Jackson making plays. A back breaking, you got him down 3rd and 14, and you're like, here we go. We're going to get the ball back, go down, score. And he breaks off a 30-yard run. It's just
the Patriots always kind of struggle against these running quarterbacks. Like Lamar, remember he came in like 3 years ago and just decimated the fucking Patriots.
Torched them. Yep.
And then I think it was 2 years ago that we beat Lamar and he had a pretty shitty game. Actually, I remember that one. We had a pick on him. So but then Cam Newton back in, 2015 or something like that, Super Cam doing what he does, coming in, dominated the whole game. Ice up son and whatnot. No, I wouldn't say that. A little bit of
ice up son. Oh my God. Remember that? Steve Smith.
Good. I'll never forget it.
Oh my God.
He's the best. He's also the scariest human being I've ever,
No, I wouldn't. I would. God, yeah, him. God, see him and Talib. That's like an all-time battle. Those two, because neither one of them I'd ever want to face.
I figure it'd be a Gilbert Arenas situation where somebody would bring a gun to the locker room, and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah, be ice up this.
Ice up that body bag, boy.
So the Ravens, it's just it's much easier said than done. I was trying to think of how the Patriots can win, because of course going into this game you're like, holy shit, I just have no idea how they're going to stop them. You can't blitz them, because I think off the blitz, I had the stats here earlier, but Lamar Jackson was like 12 of 16, something like that, 13 of 16, 12 of 16, 2 touchdowns and like 120 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
So you can't really blitz them. I feel like how you have to defend the Ravens is rush your 3 or 4, but probably send 4, just to, you can't have them sitting back there all day. Have some sort of spy back there, and then just hopefully you can cover the guys. Like, it's going to be one of those games where it's tough. You can scheme this up all you want, but it is also going to come down to your guys doing their job. Like we haven't heard that before. And, covering people for 3 or 4 seconds. And Lamar Jackson's going to run. He's going to get some runs on you. It's that simple. You're not going to hold him. He's the most prolific runner of the football since Mike Vick. Cam Newton was much more fun to watch to me, but Lamar Jackson, since Mike Vick, there has been no one as electric as him.
I'm with you.
I'm very worried about this game.
Yeah, I mean, the whole blitz thing, you're spot on. Like, you can't blitz the linebackers and up the middle blitz because he can beat anyone to the outside. So he will get outside before our defensive ends can even touch the tackles. He will be outside. If you blitz from the outside, then he can just leg it up the middle and try and beat some dude to one of the corners. So what the Eagles used to do with Michael Vick when he was on the Falcons, I remember Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, died of cancer. Dude was a stud. He would send 4 every time, and he would have Javon Curse go after Vic, and he would only rush 3 or 4, and he would just be like, we have to get pressure. Everyone else is dropping back in a shallow coverage. If Vic runs anywhere outside, we got corners on the flats. We got linebackers just past the line of scrimmage, and that's all you can do. And you're like, we're going to give up 50. We're going to give up 50 to him, but we're not going to give up 100. We're not going to give up 75. So it's like one of those things where it's like damage control. There's going to be damage. The stove's on fire. Things are going to burn, but we can stop it from burning the house down.
Yeah, like that's it. It seems so easy, right? But it's
but then Lamar can go
tough.
crazy. Like last game, he had 5 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. You're like, oh my God.
He's ridiculous. And again, that last game got wild in the fourth quarter. That was one of those, crazy fourth quarters
where like the defense couldn't do anything. Like neither defense was
neither defense did. The Ravens made
Mm-hmm.
people actually think Tua is a star. So calm down. That was a crazy fourth quarter, but neither one of those teams are as good or as bad as they played in that fourth quarter. It's almost like on offense, if you can keep the pressure on them on offense. So by going down and always scoring a field goal or a touchdown, time of possession, like I feel like this is going to be a big time of possession, end it with a score game for the Patriots offense. Because if you can do that, you're going to put pressure on the Ravens in general, in their receivers. You're going to put pressure on Lamar Jackson. Who knows? He might go shit himself like he did last season. So I don't know. I want to pick the Patriots to win. I picked them to lose when we did the thing. So I have to stay with my thing. However, I did also pick them to beat the Dolphins. They lost to the Dolphins. So there is a game out there that they owe you a win. So I was thinking it was going to be the first game against the Bills, because when they play the Bills, that's when they break out their red jerseys for the second time. I said on that pregame on the pregame one that we did, anytime the Patriots wear those red jerseys, I'm going for them. So I don't know, but you can win this game. You have a lot of momentum coming off this. It's going to be the home opener. The crowd is going to be going crazy. It's just going to come down to, like you said, limiting the damage. It's like when teams would play Tom Brady. You're not going to shut him down. You're not going to. You just need to either force him into that one mistake, because Lamar Jackson makes mistakes. Let's be honest.
He does. He'll have some balls in there.
Yeah, and the Ravens, by the way, they're either the worst. I think they are the worst. The worst or the second worst at giving up the deep ball. So now this kind of factors into
Patriots' strength. That's not great.
But that's what they're trying to do, though. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to do with Nelson Aguilar or Devontae Parker. So is this the game where Devontae Parker comes out
constantly taking deep shots?
I don't know, but also the Patriots are the number 2 team in the league. They're either the number 1 or the number 2. I forget which one it was, but at giving up the fewest deep passes. Yes. So what does Lamar Jackson do, though? He fucking chucks the ball 70 yards. Call me naive. I'm never worried about that against the Patriots defense. And I think it might just be the Devin McCourty effect. I always think that he's going to get back there and do something. So
he's speed.
If you can force Jackson into some sort of turnovers, some mistakes, fumbles at some point, a pick, to win the turnover battle, you win the game. That being said, I still have to stick with my thing. I don't think the Patriots are going to come out on top. I want them to prove me wrong. I really do. I don't think they are. what's your overarching thought about this? Then we'll get in, then we'll throw our game breakers out there, and then we'll dip out of here.
I mean, like you said, I want it to be a win. The home opener is big for the momentum and whatnot. It makes me think the Patriots have more than a fighting chance.
Mhm.
I don't know. Lamar's coming off such a hot performance. I don't think he matches it. So it's obviously not going to be, I think it's going to be a very low scoring affair. I don't know.
It's tough.
It's truly
It's
a toss
tough.
up. Like it's even. If I was like a betting man, like setting the odds here, it would be even money for both teams. I truly have no idea which one I want to go with. Both of them great coaches. I want to give the edge to the Patriots, but Lamar Jackson is on a tear for a new contract. I think he's going to try and get that
new
bag.
contract
Yeah,
year.
he's on a contract year. So I think he's going to try and get that bag. I got to stick with my old prediction. Ravens are going to win like by 3 points at most.
I can't. This is the weird thing about picking a game that your team is playing in. It's so weird because you want them to win. I think the Patriots are going to win, but that's what my heart says. My head, this is going to be a very tough game. Very tough game. So I don't know. I see the path to victory for the Patriots. I see it. Control the clock, score. You can't have these empty drives. You can't have these 70-yard drives that end in a turnover or a field goal or something. You got to score touchdowns. And you just have to force Lamar Jackson into mistakes or just limit the damage, tighten up when you get down there for it. All the cliches, force field goals, don't give up touchdowns. 3 is better than 7.
Yeah.
All the normal stuff. I don't
think the deep ball is going to be a huge factor, though. I think that stat for the Ravens being like one of the worst deep ball teams is conflated by the last game where Tyreek Hill had like 280+ yard touchdowns and Jalen Waddle was killing.
Yeah, and like you said, it doesn't necessarily play into like, even though the Patriots do have, that 50-50 ball, they've tried it more the last couple of games I've seen, like all last season. So they're trying to do that, but they're not
trying really hard with Devontae Parker. It's not working, but they're trying.
Yeah, speaking of Devontae Parker.
Hold on, before you say on him, do you know his stats for this season?
Yeah, 1 catch for 9 yards, right?
Yeah, on 4 targets.
Listen, we can only go up
4 targets.
I like that.
That means know. Can you only go up? I guess
you can't go down, Liam. What's he gonna? Actually, no, you can't. He can get hurt. Jesus,
yeah,
I forgot. There's always worse. So with that being said, about Devontae Parker, and it might be more of a wishful thinking, but I'm also thinking just with my head. Devontae Parker is my game breaker for next week.
Okay,
he's my pick, and I think there's logic behind it. The Ravens secondary, a little banged up, not great. Marcus Peters, do you put Marcus Peters on Parker, strictly, or does he kind of float to Aguilar? Does he go to Jacoby Myers? Because Jacoby Myers seems to be the guy. I feel they
have Humphrey too. Wow.
There has to be the opportunity for Devontae Parker here. There has to be. It's something that clearly the Patriots, and Mac Jones specifically, knows that he has to get into. Devontae Parker knows that they got to fix that. They were so close on that comeback route to Devontae Parker before. It just seemed like Parker was looking for more of a fade. Mac kind of wanted him to come back a little bit. They were so close. Because the play was there. It was just they were off by like a foot, and it's like, I think this is the week Devontae Parker catches a touchdown. I think he has one. Just I don't even know how many yards, what the pass would be. I think it's just going to be one of those passes where it's like, fuck yeah, like it's just he catches a fuck yeah pass where it's like
finally.
That's why we signed him. I'm not saying he's going to jump up. Yeah, he's not going to Calvin Johnson it and go up between 3 Ravens defenders and catch the ball. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, but it's just going to be one of those plays where it's like, I don't know, it's 3rd and 16 and Mac throws kind of a deep out to him or something. He jumps up, high points it, catches it, and it's like, that's why you signed him. Fuck yeah. So Devontae Parker is my guy. I think I might be burning myself with this pick. I might be going a little bit too much, but I think It has to happen. This is going to be my great. If it's not, I'm not going to pick him again. I'm going to try not to pick the same guy as much as I can. So I'm burning my pick on Devontae Parker this week. 1 o'clock Ravens game, home opener. There is not a better game for Devontae Parker to have his first touchdown than in front of the home. They're going to go fucking nuts.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if it's a 45-yard bomb that he goes up and like kind of basically almost like the Aguilar play, but I'd love for it to be in the end zone, get up, get it, spike, crowd goes crazy, muskets firing, Ravens lose, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Lose.
That's how I feel though. Devontae Parker's my game breaker, but I still am not as confident on the Patriots. Liam, who do you got?
That's bold. Yeah, for me, like you said, I'm going to try and avoid picking the same people each week. Mine are going to be completely circumstantial week to week. Look at the last week, look at the season, make a prediction going forward. Mine's got to be Hunter Henry. Like nothing in the last game. Absolutely nothing. It's like the Ravens, Patrick Queen's a great linebacker. But beyond that, they're going to focus on their secondary that they got. They got not Deshaun Elliott. They have Earl Clark, I think, is their strong safety. But then they have Humphrey and Peters on the outside. So their secondary is good. But their linebacking core to stop Hunter Henry, it's not great. They gave up a touchdown to Mike Gesicki last week, who's, middle of the road tight end. I think Mac's going to look at his tight ends and be like, hey, you guys, both of you got no catches last week. I'm going to try and force feed this a little bit, push the matter. I'm convinced Hunter Henry has an impact and a touchdown this upcoming game.
They got Justin Houston, good, but he's not a coverage guy though. That's the thing.
He's pass rush. He's pass rush.
Yeah, so if you guys, like you said, Patrick Queen, good, but
he is so old. How old is Justin Houston?
Oh, I don't fucking know. Justin
36.
Yeah, but 36 is your guess. I'm gonna guess 33. Justin Houston. He is, drum roll, 33. Shit, look at that.
Wow,
that's old though. That's old. That's old as shit though. So he I could see that. I could see Hunter Henry having a big game. Because like you said, Patrick Queen is good, but he other than that, there's not really anybody else that scares you there. Marcus Peters is good. Like you said, Marlon Humphrey.
Game. They're going to work the play action. I'm smelling a Hunter Henry touchdown. I want to say Johnny Smith. I want to say this is the Johnny Smith game, but I'm trying to be
save
realistic
that one.
Here.
Yeah, no, I can't.
I'm 1 for 1 on solid game breakers. Like predicted Nelly, got Nelly. I could say Nelly for every game and cash in because he's the far and away the best receiver in the league. But I'll switch it up. Hunter Henry.
I could see. Kind of like, was it the Browns game where Hunter Henry caught 3 touchdowns or something that?
Yeah.
I could see they get in the red zone. You get one of those wide open play actions where it's everybody goes in, and it's just one of those ones where he rainbows it because he doesn't even have to. He could literally just do one of these coverage. Shovel pass.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. But I could also see play action. You do a fade, corner fade to Devontae Parker. He goes up, catches it over Marlon Humphrey, spikes it in his fucking face.
And before we wrap up, any hope for Kendrick Bourne to settle into this offense here? Again, 2 catches. I think he played more snaps this time. He still played single digits, but I think he played
26. No. He played.
Was it? I didn't think it was double digits.
Snap count. Oh, look, it's already you go type it into you go type into Google, it automatically
the public wants to know what the hell is going on.
Populates. So the page is loading up. So yeah, I think he has a total of, where is it? Oh god, why do they list everybody out like this? Oh, he's at the bottom. 24 snaps. 24 snaps he had. Yeah. Last game. Damn. That was against, let me just make sure I'm looking at the right thing. September 19th, 20. Still, yeah, that was this weekend.
Yep.
Wow. He had 24
catches
just to show our boy Lil Jordan, by the way, pleasantly surprised. He's in there doing blocking. He's your third tight end. No issue. He had
even on his catch, he had the 11-yard catch. I think he could have, cut it up and tried to make a move. But this is his first game. I'm like, dude, you caught it. That's all I care about. Down. You didn't drop it. You didn't fumble. That's sweet. Good for him.
Yeah, no. Catch it and go down. Jacoby Myers, 56 snaps. I mean, he is just
balling.
God, Jacoby Myers might be my Cole Strange. Cole Strange, and actually, no, the entire, I think this is the first time this happened this season. Well, okay, only 2 games. The entire offensive line played the entire game.
Good.
I like that. I like that very much. So you got Trent Brown, Cole Strange, David Andrews, Mike Onwenu, and Isaiah Wynn. It's a solid starting line. So yeah, I think Kendrick Bourne, he's
weird.
I don't get it. And I'm not even necessarily saying that he needs to play, because he played it. He had like he was on the field 24 snaps, not a lot, but he still played. I mean, Nelson Aguilar had 33 snaps, so it's not a crazy
that's
number
not a huge
for him.
Difference. But then again, you look at Nelly, it's like, what's that? 9 more snaps, and he had 6 catches for $110, and Kendrick Bourne had 2 for 16. So it's like obviously like a part of it's Mac. There's like maybe he's not looking his way, and like it's probably position in the offense. Like, Jacoby Myers is taking the linebackers so these guys can get, free runs down the field and get open on the sidelines and whatnot and over the middle. I don't know. Just not drawn up to get the ball to him, I guess.
I think this game, since we're seeing his snap count increase, I feel like we'll see kind of what's happening now. If it stays right around this amount, low 20s in the snap count, a few catches or something, then I would say he might be on the bubble to right around when Tyquan Thornton comes back. Kendrick Bourne might get traded or might get released or something like that. Which I would hate that, just because I like him. I don't think that him being gone, I mean, clearly judging by what's going on, him being gone doesn't necessarily impact this offense, especially
and then once Thornton comes back and, like he's going to take up some snaps, you'd imagine.
You would think that Thornton would play the same role as Bourne with the sweeps and stuff. Thornton's fast as shit. So you would think he would play a similar route, but I don't, it's weird, because I think coming into the year, we all, or you and I definitely, we were expecting Kendrick Bourne to he was that guy where it's like, okay, you got Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Parker. What's going to happen with Nelson Aguilar? But now it's kind of the opposite. You got Nelson Aguilar.
With Bourne.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd love to see him like integrated more. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what I need to see. Like, I don't know if it's just snap counts being up, if it's just more targets, because I don't want it to be forced to him. Like, I don't know. I guess we'll see after the game, but I hope that he has more of an impact, but deep down, I don't know. I think we might be seeing the last few games of Kendrick Bourne's Patriots career, which is crazy to think about.
That would be brutal.
But that'd be brutal. But I think it'd be brutal in the fans' eyes. The actual on-field performance, I don't think it would impact it. But yeah, for the fans, I think people would hate that, because Kendrick Bourne's such a likable guy. So I don't know. We'll see though. After this game, I think we'll know what's going on with him though. So I don't know.
That we will.
I don't know. But huge game Monday, 1:00, Ravens home opener. Just, if you're going to the game, be loud. If you're not, be loud in your living room. They hear it. I promise you, they do.
They do.
I'm going to be getting the amount of, actually, no, I'm going to be drinking either way. I'm either going to be happy drunk or angry drunk, depending on how this happens. So
your poor wife.
We will see. I'm also watching it, but I believe the in-laws are coming over, and
Christ.
And my father-in-law does like to get like aggressively insulting towards the teams. I'm gonna it might get crazy. Like, I might be like, just fucking, it's not their fault. It's the fucking, it's this. Oh my God, I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't make any woodhead jokes, but we'll see. I can't promise
That'd be
anything.
ideal. Yeah,
I may just have to throw it in there to ease the tension. So
of course, tensions are likely going to be high whether we're winning or losing.
Yeah. I envision this game. My final thought on this game: this is not going to be an enjoyable game, regardless if the Patriots win or lose. This is not going to be one of those fun games to watch.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fuck. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah,
fuck.
Yeah, right to the bitter end. Whether it's a blowout, a close game, this is not going to be an enjoyable game for Patriots fans. No. But that being said, happy football Sunday.
Happy football.
Big game. So for Liam McDade, I'm Mike Sullivan. Hopefully when we check back in, the Patriots are 2-1. Tied for a division lead, maybe. Who knows? Actually, no, they won't be because the Bills and the Dolphins are playing each other this weekend. So battle of the powerhouse is there. Baby. So like I said, Liam McDade, I'm Mike Sullivan. Tuck Rule takes. We are out. Go Patriots. Fuck Tom Brady.
Fuck Tom Brady. Sweet feet.
Sweet feet.